Welcome to the post-NBA trade deadline preview March Madness edition of the Josh Widman Basketball Show. Now, the NBA, we're going to start with the NBA this time, and the NBA just had its annual trade deadline where usually a lot of big-time moves go down. This year, I believe there was 12 trades, none really of the blockbuster category, but I'll read them off regardless. The Chicago Bulls acquiring Justin Holiday, brother of Drew Holiday, from Atlanta, and a 2018 second-round pick from Utah for Kirk Hinrich, and they sent him to Atlanta. My Cleveland Cavaliers made perhaps the biggest impact of a move when they acquired Channing Frye from Orlando. This was a 3-team deal, and the Cavs got rid of Jared Cunningham and a future second-rounder to Orlando for Frye, but then also they included Portland in the deal and gave Portland Anderson Varejao. Now, it was a little hard for me to see Anderson Varejao leave because I've grown up watching him on the Cavs. He's been through the good, the bad, the ugly, and I really wanted, if we're going to win a championship this year or at any point, I really wanted him to be on the roster because he deserves it probably the most out of anybody on this squad. But I wish him all the best, and I'm sure all of Cleveland does as well. Rumor is that he is going to sign with Golden State, so maybe he will get that ring, but I wish it would be for us, but hey. Next up, we got the Denver Nuggets. They made a good move. They traded Randy Floyd, Oklahoma City, for Steve Novak, DJ Augustine, a future second-round pick, but Steve Novak would be later released and signed by Milwaukee. So that's a good move for the Thunder getting Floyd. He's a combo guard, can provide three-point scoring off the bench. The Rockets, this trade was voided, but I'll say it anyway, but the Rockets traded forward Donatas Motiejunas and Marcus Thornton to Detroit for a protected 2016 first-rounder Joel Anthony. This trade was voided, so Donatas and those other players will not be swapping sides. Now this might be the best move. Channing Frye might have the most impact, but this might be the best move. The Grizzlies, they traded Jeff Green to the Clippers for Lance Stephenson. Now, great job by the Clipper GM. Lance Stephenson was doing absolutely nothing for them. They got a solid small forward, which they've been looking for, because Matt Barnes is not a championship quality small forward to have on your team as a starter. On the bench, sure, why not? But Clippers, you got great coach Doc Rivers, you got Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, a bunch of shooting, and all you needed was a small forward. The small forward position has been killing them for years, and they got one, so let's see what they can do out west. And Pelicans, they got Jarnell Stokes, former Tennessee Volunteer, for CAD and cash from Miami for a future second-round draft pick, minor move. The Suns got rid of Markieff Morris. They traded him to Washington for a protected 2016 first-rounder, and Chris Humphries and DeJuan Blair. So after Phoenix traded Markieff's brother Marcus, things were not going well in the desert, so they finally got rid of him. And for those of you who don't know what a protected pick means, I used to not know what it was either, but until I looked it up. But a protected pick means, let's say the Wizards say, all right, we'll give you this pick, but if it's in the top 10, we get to keep it. So that's what you would call a top 10 protected. So if it's anywhere outside the top 10, it goes to Phoenix. But if it's a top 10 pick, Washington keeps it. Usually in those trades, it'll slowly become more likely for the team that acquired the pick to use it. So it'll be top 10 protected for the first 2 years, and then after that it'll be top 5 protected. That way it gives a better chance of the Wizards, the acquiring team in this case, to get that pick. And then Portland, making another move, they acquired Brian Roberts and a future second-rounder from the Miami Heat for cash, and they also waived former Penn Stater Tim Frazier. The Jazz, and the last move I'm going to mention, they acquired former Butler Bulldog Shelvin Mack from Atlanta for a future second-round draft pick. So no real major names going swapping places, but definitely the Cavs and the Clippers definitely improving in my book, and we'll see how those teams can improve down the stretch as they hunt for a championship. Golden State Warriors continue their historic run. They just got their 50th win last night over the Hawks. They are one game ahead of the pace set by the 95-96 Bulls, who went 72-10. So time will tell if Golden State is able to keep this together. The Cavs still holding a lead in the East, but Toronto is quickly gaining. New York Knicks, they have fallen out of playoff contention pretty much for the most part. They are in a downhill spiral. I honestly don't know why they fired Derek Fisher. I honestly don't know. And speaking of firing coaches, there have been a couple. Brooklyn has fired Lionel Hollins. My Cavaliers have fired David Blatt. The Knicks have fired Derek Fisher. And I feel like there's one more. I don't know. Whatever. Alright. Now moving on to college basketball. My favorite month of the year, well, one of my favorite months of the year is coming up, and it's March. And March means conference tournaments and March Madness. College basketball's best month by far. Joey Brackets, Joe Lenardi on ESPN, has been releasing a mock bracket, what he thinks the bracket would look like as of each day. He does it about maybe once a week, maybe once every 3.5 days. So I'm going to go in depth to look at his most recent bracket dated yesterday, the 22nd. And so his 4-1 seeds, in the East we got Villanova, Midwest we got Kansas, the South we got UVA, the Cavaliers, and in the West we have the Oklahoma Boomer Sooners. I agree with these 1 seeds. I think that Villanova, no matter where they go, no matter where they end up, will lose early again because they are extremely overrated in my book. Kansas I agree with. Virginia, I would say yes. I think the winner of the ACC should definitely get a 1 seed. And Oklahoma, I mean, aside from Kansas and a letdown to Texas Tech, they're dominating. So other than Kansas, I think they've lost maybe 2-3 times all year. 2 seeds, we have Michigan State, UNC, Xavier, and Iowa. Now, I'm not really big on Xavier or Villanova because I don't think they're playing quality teams. If they were in the ACC, or even maybe like the Big Ten or the Pac-12 or a better conference in the Big East, I don't think they don't have as good of a record. Now, are they bad teams? Of course not. Are they worthy of the seeds? I would think so. I mean, they are both playing pretty well, but I don't think they'd be in their current positions if they were in a bigger conference. Big East is nothing compared to what it was when Syracuse and Pitt and all the good teams were in it. Now, got like Creighton and Butler and Providence. But I mean, while those teams are no slouches, it's not the teams of the past. Now, the 8-9 matchups he has are really, really intriguing, and I'm going to pick them right now. Obviously, this isn't the real bracket. I'm just going to pick them as I think I would see it. So, we have the 8 seed Florida Gators versus the 9 seed Pitt Panthers. Gotta go with Pittsburgh here. Pitt, their style of play, just I have no words. They would play Villanova, assuming that Villanova doesn't become the first 1 seed to lose in the first round against a 16. I would think Pittsburgh has a pretty good chance against Villanova. I might even pick Pittsburgh against Villanova, but I definitely think they'd beat Florida in the first round. Next, we got the Wisconsin Badgers to UConn Huskies. Now, while Wisconsin has responded to the new coach since Bo Ryan retired in the middle of the year, they're very on and off. They've beaten Maryland at Maryland, but they don't have the star power they had last year. In Connecticut, they have Scotch playing his own Sterling Gibbs on his 4th school now, and they have Rodney Purvis, Amita Brima. I just think Wisconsin can't keep up with the scoring ability of UConn. I would think UConn would take that one. That would be a good game, though. It'd be great. Texas Tech, the 8 versus 9 seed VCU. Both teams on the rise. Texas Tech's been playing well against the elites of the Big 12, and they've even gotten a couple wins, like against Oklahoma. So I have to say Texas Tech, but good for VCU. 1 year after Shaka Smart leaves for Texas, they're, as Joe Lenardi has them right now, they'd be back in the tournament. So good for that small program. And the last one, the 8 seed USC versus 9 seed St. Joseph's. St. Joe's has DeAndre Bembry on their team. He played for the Patrick School here in New Jersey, and But I don't know. USC, I haven't really gotten to watch a lot of them because they're on the West Coast. Gotta get to bed. Come on, I mean, like, on a school night, gotta get into bed. Can't stay up for those 10:30 tips. I don't know. There's a toss-up. I'd have to say USC. A little more star power. Used to playing better teams, so I guess I'd go USC. Some other upsets I'm looking at. There's usually a 4-13. That's usually a popular pick. In here, Joe Lunardi has the 4-seed Kentucky going up against 13 Stony Brook, 4-seed Duke going up against 13 Hawaii, Iowa State the 4 against Yale the 13, and Arizona the 4 against 13 ranked Akron. Out of those four, I think the most likely would be Yale over Iowa State. Iowa State had their coach Fred Hoiberg depart for the Chicago Bulls. They're not the same team as last year, and they've lost a bunch in a row. And Yale's been playing pretty good, and the Ivy League's no slouch of a conference. So what I have to say, in this bracket, in this mock bracket that Lunardi has, I have to say that the most likely 4-13 is Yale over Iowa State. Now, does that mean it's going to happen? Who knows? Some upsets that I will pick, though, is I'd say for number 5 Dayton to watch out for number 12 San Diego State. Steve Fisher always gets those guys ready to go. The San Diego State has some good players. They have Montague Gill-Caesar, and they also have Malik Pope, so watch out for that. Dayton just lost to St. Bonaventure at home. Dayton, as most people remember, had a magical run to the Elite Eight in a few years ago's tournament, I believe 2013, but I don't know if they'll be able to get that far in this mock bracket. I'd also say, in that same Midwest bracket, I'd say number 11 Monmouth, who Joe Lunardi has getting an at-large bid against number 6 Utah. Now Utah, Jacob Podol, he's big, but I just think Monmouth, there's something about Monmouth this year that just, I think it'll just negate and neutralize that size advantage, and I think Monmouth will be able to get the job done. I think that I think the 7-10, I mean, I don't really want to call that an upset unless the teams are mismatched. Like a 7-10, like Wichita State, Michigan. I think Wichita State should win, but Michigan can shoot the 3, so if they're on that game, Wichita State's got to watch out. 7 Providence against 10 Syracuse. I think Syracuse will be able to get that done. Chris Dunn will probably have a hard time penetrating into that patented 2-3 zone that Jim Boeheim likes to play. And Syracuse, I think, would have enough shooting. Syracuse is enigmatic because they'll have a great win. They went on the road at Duke. While they didn't have Emil Jefferson, of course, but still, if you win at Duke, always an impressive win. Syracuse, but then they lose at home to Pitt in convincing fashion. They really did not shoot the ball well. Syracuse is one of those teams that can get hot at the right time, and they can storm through the conference tournament and then into the NCAA tournament with some momentum, or they can lose in the first round of both. That's what jump shooting teams do come March. I think Syracuse would have enough to get over the hump against Providence and pull the 7-10 upset. The 6 in that same West bracket, Texas, would play the winner of the 11 Cincinnati and 11 Gonzaga. I think Texas should just watch out. They've been prone to letdowns, although they have plenty of good wins. I'm sure Shaka Smart will try and recapture some of that March Madness magic of old. And then my other upset watch here is the 5 seed Purdue against the winner of the 12 seed Alabama, 12 seed Butler. Alabama, Avery Johnson has their program headed in the right direction after this is only his first year in the program. Purdue has a size advantage, but if they get in foul trouble, who knows? Alabama, Butler, 2 very quality teams, and anything can happen in March. So, this concludes this episode of the Josh Whitman Basketball Show. I will check in once more after Selection Sunday to talk about the real bracket and anything that's going on in the NBA at that point. We're out.